Hello everyone, my name is Teacher Jeff, and today we will be talking about the weather and the wind. My question to you is, what is weather? What is the weather? Let me help you with that. Let's look out the window. As you look out the window, is it sunny? Is it rainy? Is it windy? Is it snowy? Is it cloudy? Tell me, what is the weather right now? Weather is the condition of the Earth's atmosphere at a specific place and time. We say this because in one part of the Earth, it can be rainy, but on the other side of the Earth, it can be very sunny. So, weather can change based on location. Next question to you. Let's say you live in Seoul, but yellow dust from China blows into Seoul. How does that make you feel? Does that change the way you live? Do you tend to put on a mask? How does wind change your everyday life? For me, I love the wind because when I feel the wind hit my face, I become very relaxed. I become very, very calm. How does the wind affect your life? Now, let's go over the 6 vocabulary words, okay? Let's look at the board and repeat after me. Weather, wind, global winds, Coriolis effect, jet stream, monsoons. To remember jet stream, we can do this. To remember monsoons, you can remember this hand motion, twirling in a circle, going up. Now, let's play a short game to help you remember the words. I will give you 2 minutes to remember the words that we just went over. And then I will give you 1 minute to write the words down as fast as you can. The winning group or winning person will receive a prize from me. Now that we've completed our vocabulary, let's get into the lesson. Next question. What causes air to move? It is because of uneven heating on the earth. Because there's uneven heating, wind is created. On the earth, there is high pressure and low pressure. The high pressure will always travel to the low pressure. Where there is high pressure, it is cold. Where there is low pressure, it is hot. So, also, the variation of pressure will be different. Sometimes the pressure will be just a slight breeze, and sometimes the pressure will push you away. Also, like I said before, the high pressure moves to low pressure. That also changes the direction. So wherever there is high pressure, it will move to low pressure. The low pressure can be anywhere, okay? So high pressure here, low pressure here, high pressure here, low pressure here, and so forth in different areas of the earth. Remember, let's look at the picture again. The earth is round. The earth also rotates. This also has an effect on the wind. Can you tell me the two parts of the earth? There is the northern hemisphere and there is the southern hemisphere. We live in the northern hemisphere. On the northern hemisphere, the wind blows to the right. But in the southern hemisphere, the wind blows to the left. Also on the earth, there is the equator right in the middle. The equator is very, very warm. The earth also has two poles, north and south poles. At the north and south poles, there are easterlies, also high pressure. Now, as I said before, the high pressure goes to the low pressure, which means in the middle is the equator. That is the low pressure. Because all this pressure is going to the equator, there are usually multiple storms that occur around the equator. Because the earth rotates and the wind is affected by it, this is known as the Coriolis effect. This is known as the Coriolis effect. Okay? Also, because of the winds moving from the north hemisphere to south hemisphere, there is something called jet streams, where the high pressure meets the low pressure, and they move in a wave pattern. Because they move in a wave pattern, it affects the weather in the north hemisphere and the south hemisphere. This is very important to know, because that is why people are complaining about changes in the weather and global warming. Now, let's talk about local winds. Okay? Question: do we live on land or do we live on the sea? That is correct. We live on the land. Okay? And during the daytime, the land is warm and the water is cold. So that means that the air pressure is coming from the water to the land. The water to the land. That is why we see waves coming in towards the land during the daytime. But during the nighttime, you can see that the water is receding back to the ocean. The roles have changed. The roles have reversed. It is now cooler on land and warmer on water during the nighttime. Now, let's talk about monsoons. Earlier in class, we talked about different kinds of weather, but now we have two kinds of monsoons. They happen during which two seasons? They happen during the summertime and they happen during the wintertime. Let's talk about the summer monsoons. Now, during the summer monsoons, it is colder on the water but warmer on land. So, not only is the water coming from the sea, it is also bringing high winds and storms. Hence why it is summer monsoon and it is very wet and rainy during this season. So all of the storms and winds and clouds and everything is coming towards the land, therefore making the storm and land wet. Now, let's talk about the winter monsoon. The roles are once again reversed. Now that we've reversed the roles, it is now dry air coming from the land, because it is now high pressure, going towards the low pressure, which is now the water during the winter time. Hence why it is winter monsoon. There is not any rain or water coming from the land. Only in the summertime is the water coming from the sea. Now, let's start to review. What is the relationship between air pressure and wind? Next question. What factor determines the strength of wind? Next question. In the northern hemisphere, what directions do the winds curve? How do mountains and bodies of water affect the patterns of heating and cooling? How do monsoons affect rainfall? And lastly, how are people affected by global winds? How are people affected by global winds? Thank you all for listening, and I hope you all remember to do your homework and your study guide B.